Hello everyone, my name is Heidi Lammert and I'm going to do my mini case presentation. First I'm going to speak about the individual. So this individual, we will call her Sarah for confidentiality's sake. She was referred to Rocky Mountain Behavioral Health by Fremont County Department of Human Services. The activating event that led her children to be removed from her home was that she and her husband were taking her children to the bus stop in the morning, so around 7 o'clock in the morning. On the way to the bus stop, they actually got into a pretty bad accident where the car was actually flipped. The children were fine. However, she ended up with two broken bones in her back, and he had a big gash on his head right here and was arrested for a DUI. So once they determined that, because he was the driver, she was not. So once they determined that she and he both had alcohol in their system and that he was driving the children while under the influence, the children were directly removed from their custody. So it's two children, ages 13 and 9, and they were both placed with kinship. The fact that this individual was referred to Rocky Mountain Behavioral Health for a substance use evaluation allowed us to make a determination on if she should be receiving any type of substance use treatment. Throughout the intake and the assessment, during the intake, we were able to get a little bit more information than we were at the assessment. She actually determined during the assessment that we were a part of Fremont County DHS and that she didn't want to tell us anything or be honest. So she denied any patterns of alcohol abuse, any past substance use history, compared to the intake where she reported that she previously tried methamphetamine and that she actually used methamphetamine for several years. So it was some conflicting information. So Rocky Mountain's roles in this process is we have a contract with Fremont County Department of Human Services, and they send us anybody who is suspected to have a substance use diagnosis to determine if they need any type of treatment. So we have a contract with them and they ask us to do treatment. Some impacts is to the agency is that while she's denying any substance use, we're still billing for substance use treatment. So my questions surround ethical practicing. So if we're not actually doing substance use treatment in session because she continues to deny drinking, is it ethical for us to continue to bill for substance use treatment? So this individual is a 48-year-old Caucasian female. She has a very rural background, so she lives in a very small town outside of Canyon City, Colorado, actually on a ranch. She has previous employment at agencies like PYC, which is Pueblo Youth Corrections, as well as Southern Peaks, which is another intensive residential facility for adolescents. She also was trained as an EMT, so she did that for a significant amount of time. However, as of now and at the time of the intake, she was not gainfully employed, and she reported that's due to the accident and because it was published in the paper, everything that happened, so she was under the impression that PYC and Southern Peaks would not allow her back into employment with them. So as far as treatment that I have provided with her, it has been a difficult couple of months because while she continues to have positive ETGs for alcohol or dilute UAs, she continues to report that she does not drink alcohol. So she informed me that she thinks it could be due to her diet or that it could be due to faulty things in the tests. So that has become extremely frustrating. Even when I show her the results and I have had one of the UAs confirmed, she continues to report to me that she does not have an alcohol problem and that she was not drinking at the time. The most interesting thing about this case is that there is actually no dependency and neglect action filed. The department kept this case on a voluntary basis in hopes that they would be able to offer the services that would allow the children to come home eventually. Her daughter and her husband's son are not of the two. So she has her daughter from a previous marriage. He has his son from a previous marriage. The Department of Human Services did have her daughter, placed with somebody who obtained guardianship, which was her cousin. So she signed guardianship over to the cousin so that they were not able to file a dependency and neglect case. So the department was going to continue with filing the DNN. However, since guardianship was with another individual, the DNN would also be on those individuals, which they were actually trying to help out. So the department determined that a dependency and neglect action was not appropriate at this time. Things that I've personally tried, I've tried a strengths-based approach, and I've tried to become her ally through the sessions. She does see me, or did in the beginning, as a part of Department of Human Services in Fremont County. That's just because I'm so involved with them, and I come to family engagement meetings for DNN cases. I go to court on Thursday, so she sees me not so much as her ally. So we really started small and just began building a therapeutic alliance. Other than that, we've tried mindfulness techniques to help calm her in situations that surround her anxiety and overall anger for her child being removed from her care. The fact that she will not admit any substance use makes it difficult, because I would love to help her with grounding techniques, mindful skills, and even a CBT approach to address her thinking errors surrounding drinking while her children were in the car, or drinking as a way to cope with stress. However, since she's not acknowledging that, it makes sessions extremely difficult and extremely tense, because she continues to report that she doesn't know why she's there. So I recently put her in a group, an MI-based group. It's called Motivational Enhancement. And I put her in there with some other individuals that I know have some distrust towards not only DHS, but Rocky Mountain and other individuals. So it's a group I actually facilitate. So it's interesting because I can bring in things that I know about her into the group, but not make it personally centered around her. So I've taken that approach as well. I am constantly staffing this with my clinical manager because I feel a little bit frustrated that I'm not making any headway. The best information I've gotten from him so far is not to work harder than her. So while it's frustrating, and while I just want to be there as a voice of reason for her and a way to help, it's not my responsibility to make her admit that she has a problem, and nor does it impact me personally. So I've been remembering that. So my overall analysis of what I think is going on is that this individual is a severe alcoholic. So while she's had negative UAs, her creatinine level has been so low that they were dilute, so they were negative dilute, so she could be flushing her system. Based off of the diagnostic criteria that we use at Rocky Mountain, she was drinking while in a hazardous situation. It's caused problems in her relationships, i.e. her children. So I'd be able to give her a diagnosis just based off of those things and her positive UAs. Another tool that we use at Rocky Mountain is the SASE. So the SASE helps us determine if there's anything founded in what they're saying. So like their defiance score, if that's really high, that helps us see that they may not be 100% honest about their substance use history, and as well as like their symptoms. So if their information is conflicting, their symptoms will be higher compared to somebody who is reporting that they don't have substance use history and they legitimately don't. Those numbers will be significantly lower. So my ultimate view is that there's likely some PTSD surrounding abuse in her past. Anytime we start talking about relationships or about trusting any type of authority or any type of relationship, she shuts down completely and she does not want to have the conversation. So while she hasn't reported it to me, I have a feeling that there's some trauma history that she is not willing to be honest about because she thinks it's going to damage her getting custody of her daughter back. So self-medicating the PTSD could definitely be something that is there. Other than that, without having a better understanding of how much she drinks, when she drinks, and ultimately what she drinks and why she's not being honest about it, it's been very difficult to have an analysis of what's going on with her and to determine what's next. So as I continue to staff this with the clinical team at Rocky Mountain, as well as my clinical manager and as well as my faculty, or as well as my field placement supervisor, I'm hoping that I can find maybe another way or staff her to another primary counselor that she feels more comfortable with, because since the department is not going to file a DNN, she won't be mandated or asked to come to Rocky Mountain for any type of SUD treatment. But I feel that she could definitely benefit from the services that we have and the support that we can give her, because it just does not feel like she has any healthy bonds in her life that she can lean on. The fact that she was likely unable to quit drinking even though her children and child were removed from her care is definitely a serious concern, because that should be a significant motivator, or something that would help open her eyes to see that maybe there is a problem here, and maybe the individuals that I can speak with can offer me some insight or some guidance on what to do next. So I look forward to hearing more about what you guys think I should do moving forward with this individual. I'd also like to know if you guys have experienced any of this when you have worked with individuals one-on-one who were just completely ambivalent to treatment and unwilling to truly admit that they had any type of problem, and how you continue to break down those barriers, as well as a time frame. I don't know how long I should ethically be continuing to meet with her if she's continuing to not admit that she has a problem, or if we should just discharge her and quit billing for substance use treatment. So I appreciate all of your feedback. I appreciate you guys listening to this, and hope you have a wonderful day.